Welcome, everyone. Hi. How's everybody's Gamer X going? Cool. Who's gotten laid? Oh, yeah! This guy. I like that guy.
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, welcome. If you were wondering what place you're sitting in, you're in the GayGamer.net panel, where we've been and where we're going. I would like to introduce myself. My name is Sal Matos, and I am the new managing editor of the site. I've been writing for Gay Gamer for the last 3 years or so, and I recently, just this year, around February, stepped in as managing editor to kind of help rebrand the site and
save us from extinction.
That. But speaking of extinction, bitch. I would like to introduce one of the founders, actually, of GayGamer.net. Way back when I was in the womb, he was.
It's all right. It's true.
David Edison.
Hi, I'm David. Are we introducing? Are we telling stories? Or?
You introduce yourself.
Oh, okay. Hi, I'm David Edison, and I'm editor-in-chief of the site. I've been working there since we started in 2006, which is way longer ago than I would like to admit or believe.
Hi, my name is Jesse Cortez. I just joined writing for the site around March this past GDC. I used to work with Destructoid. I was community manager there, running city groups and live streams and Twitch and stuff like that. I took a year off of gaming industry work because boyfriend and Game and Score stuff. And then in March, Sal met me at GDC party where we were drunk and was like, hey, would you like to contribute again? So I'm like, sure, I want to start writing again. And so I'm here to, write some content, do some video stuff, and just be part of this awesome new Gay Gamer family. So.
My name is Christian. I've been writing for about 3 or 4 years, and just followed the site as soon as I heard about it. I think I discovered Gay Gamer when the top 20, 30 gayest game characters started making the rounds on the internet. And after following the site for a while, answered one of Flynn's calls for writers, sent in some samples. He gave me a couple of test runs to do. Sent them in, got the message back saying, could you be a little less mean? Because I got some really terrible titles from Hudson Soft. I'm sorry, they were awful. Sal, you remember that one with the girl with the phone?
The cell phone Wii game, where you used the Wiimote as a cell phone and had to listen to that tiny little speaker.
You're like chasing ghosts through an abandoned Japanese schoolhouse, and like one of the final scenes is this girl trying to save a ghost from committing suicide, and of course she just phases right through her and goes, meow!
That's literally the sound.
Yeah. That's exactly how it sounded.
Yeah, I took the mean note away. He's our mean writer.
On occasion. I just get a little cranky, I'm sorry.
Alright.
Need chocolate.
So, to start things off, I want first, the title of the panel is, where we've been and where we're going. So, first, where have we been?
Everywhere.
Only person who was there for that part.
Everywhere. We did get started in the summer of 2006 after Hurricane Katrina. And just sort of as a lark. Our founders started up, didn't really think it was going to become a thing, and then it did. That list caught on. I joined the site about 3 weeks after founding, and we realized that there was a real community waiting to be built, or pre-existing and sort of waiting to come online, and a real need for discussion of LGBT issues in gaming, which you can now find sort of everywhere, but at the time really needed to be defined and justified. And the question we got most often was, why would you want a gay gaming site? Stop being interesting. At the time, it was sort of before geek culture got cool, and so you would sort of have to come out twice. You'd have to come out as gay, and then you'd have to come out as a gamer. And I don't know if for those of you who are ancient dinosaurs like me, you might remember those days. I remember having dates like shut down when the other guy discovered that I was a gamer. I mean, it was like a not sexy thing, whereas now it's whip it out. Show me your joystick, double screen, whatever.
My non-game roommate still calls my fighting games the clickety-clack. So are you playing the clickety-clack again? I'm like, just playing that. He has no idea what's going on.
But those bitches are dying out.
Yeah. Now, that's what I love about this con. I was playing fighting games. I'm like, girl, you're working on FAD's combos. We're just talking shop. It's so much fun. I love gamers.
And in the early days, we had some cool stuff happen. We were on MTV when they were doing a Gamers with a Y expose, where that word first appeared. God, I don't want to. I am not. That's not epidemiological etymologist, so let's pretend that never happened. But when it was an emerging idea, it was kind of cool to be there, and now it is obviously so mainstream that there is this and y'all, which makes me happy. But for where we're going, I think that's a sell question.
Yeah, cool. So like I said, I got brought onto the site a few years ago, just sort of on a whim, and at first I was social media manager, and there wasn't a ton of social media to manage at that time.
Well, the site did have a dip. I'm going to take it back for a second. The site did have a dip, especially when I left to work on this book, which, if you like Gay Gamer and want to support Gay Gamer, support me by buying my book, The Waking Engine, coming out from Tor, available now for pre-order at Amazon, BarnesandNoble.com, and Google Books. If you support the book, you will be supporting the site, because that is how things work.
Order now.
It is true.
What's it about?
Fuck cares? There's gay shit in it. There's cyborg fairies. It's sci-fi fantasy, dark fantasy, urban fantasy, and it's a little bit of video game Easter eggy stuff. Read it and find out.
Cool. After I was brought in, the site, as David said, kind of.
We had a lull.
There was a lull. There was a bit of a lull, and it saddened me a bit, especially being on the site as a writer and knowing, when the site was first founded, I was in the forums pretty regularly. I would check the site like every day, and it was always a place that I really went to. And so coming in as a writer and being in a world where people talk louder than me.
Let's just all yell at once.
IGN, God damn it, I can't yell at them. They might give me a job. I'd like to get paid. It saddened me to see that the site had fallen into a bit of disarray. It kind of became a sounding board for press releases, which is never what you want a good site to be. And so around late last year, my frustrations were kind of at an all-time high with the site, and then there was a bit of a hullabaloo over in New York on the East Coast. You might have heard about it. There were some storms and stuff, and that ended up taking down our servers, and there was actually a very scary possibility that the site would actually just cease to exist. At which point, if any of you are on like R Gamers and any other communities like that, one of the other founders, Mikey, he actually posted on there saying, there's a very potential server shutdown imminent. Gay Gamer may possibly be no more. And what was amazing was to see the immediate support and overflow of support of people saying, I have server space, let me take your site and put it on my server. I have this, I can redesign your site for you, I can do this for you, I can do this for you. And that really, for a site that had lulled and got a couple hundred hits a day, all the people who were no longer visiting the site. We always hear, yeah, I used to go to Gay Gamer every day. I don't really anymore. But all those people still cared about Gay Gamer. There was still a sentimental value in it. And that told me, one, that there was a potential to keep this site alive, and two, that there was support for that. It wasn't just my fever dream and my own sentimentality. It was actually a real possibility. And so I sent a very, very long email to David one day. Actually, I think I was IMing Christian, and I was being frustrated, and I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna do this, and if nothing else, it was good while it lasted. And so I emailed David, and I basically said, I have a bunch of ideas. I have nothing but free time on my hands because I'm an unemployed actor. Let me...
Or actor.
I'm an actor. What free time I have to help keep this thing safe, and that became that. He said yes. And
Please.
He said please, yes. And so what we've been trying to do is rebrand the site. Slowly. We have we've redesigned it because girl was showing her age. I don't know how many of you had visited the site before January of 2013, but it looked like a site founded in 2006. It actually looked more like a site where you would go to get like baking recipes. It was like brown and beige and like really kitschy and cute. I mean, that's cute, but
It was cute.
it was cute in 2006. Basically since then we've been we've been really focusing on one, visual redesign, and two, for me, editorial overhaul, making sure that we aren't just doing press releases and generic game reviews, because you can kind of get those everywhere. We really wanted to shift. I really wanted to shift the site towards more of a culture blog and more of an opinion. I mean, why go to Gay Gamer when you can get a game review via a tweet nowadays? If you're gonna go to gaygamer.net, there better be something gay to read
And look at it.
Yeah. And so at this point, Christian stayed on board as a writer. A lot of the writers that we had actually during the transition left just because they have bigger, they've got real jobs to do, and they've got real writing jobs now.
Good ones.
Oh yeah, great ones. We're a great platform.
One of the cool things about the site is it's always been a good incubator for people who want real jobs.
Yeah, that's what I'm banking on. So let me go over some of our, what are we looking forward to doing as far as our goals that I wrote down in my notepads app. So we've got the future. I think this is actually a question that I would be very curious to hear what everyone else's thoughts are, and if anyone else. I can and will talk for a full hour. So if anyone has something to say, feel free to just raise your hand and be a part of the dialogue. But the future of games journalism, because once upon a time, games journalism actually kind of mattered.
Yes.
Like once upon a time, you actually had to go. Like if you wanted to know if a game was good or not, you actually had to go and read a review. These days, like I said, you can get it in a tweet. You can get it anywhere. Like you can get it when you're buying the game. You can read the reviews and see if it sucks or not from a bunch of different people, and you can choose if you disagree with them or not. There are so many voices online. So like, what is games journalism? I don't even know what it is anymore.
Hell if I know. I mean, sort of demonstrably, hell if I know. One of the cool things, or interesting things about the way game journalism seems to have changed over the last couple of years is that it seems to have mattered less in terms of people don't really need an intermediary between them and their opinions and them and their video games. And yet at the same time sort of veered off to be a more navel-gazy. I feel like there are a lot of games writers and fewer games journalists. I don't know if the people next door will appreciate that.
Are there fewer games journalists and more games writers?
How are you doing?
Hi.
I thought so. But you don't really, like Sal said, you can get your game review in a tweet. You don't really need a whole lot of press to go somewhere to have a press release regurgitated.
Yeah, but I think like what we're doing with Gay Gamer Net, or one of my visions for now being on the side, just making it like more fun and things that you guys would want to read and want to see. Like for E3 this year, like for example, we were sitting on what are we going to do? We're going to best game of show. That's everyone gives games of show. Like what's your best handheld? All that kind of stuff. And I was like, what? Let's do something fun. Let's do. So I did this thing with like Men of E3 awards. I made these like pink sashes with like little purple glitter. And I found all the cute PR boys, and I was like, oh my god, here's your Man of E3. So we had this like PR men gallery thing. It was a lot of fun. And the people, like the games journalists, people who work in the industry, they saw that, like, this is fun, this is awesome. They were like nominating their friends. They're like, there's this guy at Sony, I'm straight, but he's super cute, you should talk to him. So this is actually video. Sony guys, so this is like a misconnections thing. If you're at Sony and you're really cute, come talk to me. Because everyone told me that you were really hot. And we were looking for you, walked around Sony, couldn't find this like hot PR
Yeah, we were
guy.
at Sony for a while.
Yeah, we were trying to find this guy. It was like, we could not find this guy. It was
And
hilarious.
this is the state of games journalism.
It's okay that he didn't find the hot Sony guy because I found a trio at the indie games. The two of them, when we were gonna do that for that day, they were just like, okay, we both have this kind of taste in men, and we know that you have a different taste. So if you see somebody that you think is really hot, then let us know. And most of the time, I'm seeing, little bits of eye candy here and there, not bad, nothing that really, got my attention. And then we're walking past the Indiecade at E3, and Sal is a good 5 feet ahead of me, and I look over at the Indiecade booth, and I think we put the picture up in one of our E3 reviews, but these three really built hot guys in very thin spandex singlets. I'm just like, I reached over and I just grabbed something and go, stop!
Yeah, if I was a cartoon character, he literally pulled me out of the frame.
I just reached over and grabbed. I was like, there, right there,
Yeah.
those guys.
That was pretty magical. It was funny too. I mean, it was funny. We have such a warm reception in the games industry world. Like people really love us. They just. I don't know if it's because we're gay and they like token gay friends. I don't know what it is. But for all of the problems of homophobia that exist in the game world, the games media industry, by and large, is probably where most of the progress is happening.
Yeah.
I think that's why we're seeing a lot of change, and we're seeing a lot of new voices come out. I mean, one of the awards we gave to it was Max Scoville, who's over at Revision 3 with Adam Sessler, formerly of X-Play, kind of the biggest games journalism guy around with his shiny head. And they loved us. They loved talking to us. They were like, I really think what you guys are doing is great. I love all your ideas. I can't wait to see what happens with the site.
Yeah, and even just like people that are,
So would you consider your site an activism site? Do you have an aspect that you would like that towards that direction, or that you're focusing on?
I'll go first and then you can answer. So as the activism angle that we started with has not obviously it's not disappeared, because homophobia is still a huge problem, but it's gotten so much better, so much more quickly than say issues of feminism and trans issues and stuff like that it is definitely substantially less important for us actively today than it used to be, which gives us two cool things. It lets us be silly and sort of be ourselves and kind of enjoy some of the freedom that we've worked for, and it also lets us focus on issues that do still need attention, and I think we're all sort of seeing that feminism is really kind of more important these days as something that needs to be that needs activists on the ground.
I mean, it includes us.
And so we join that cause, which has some interesting, funny conflicts with sometimes with the parts of ourselves that want to have fun. But those interactions are themselves always opportunities to learn. So
I mean, I think that is a very, like, if we consider ourselves an activist site, yeah, I mean, it's in our name. We are Gay Gamer. At the end of the day, we're going to have a bias whether we want to or not, no matter how
agenda.
Yeah, and an agenda. I mean, no matter how neutral anyone tries to say they are, at the end of the day, they're taking a stance on something. Our site, it's in our name. We're taking a stance on gay issues, and as we're seeing more and more, that is now extending into trans issues. That's extending into women's issues. I would very much like to, just talk about, just social issues in gaming a lot. But like Jesse said, we also don't want it to be bogged down in super serious business all the time. It's SRS, BS.
Yeah, serious business.
I would not want the site to become, socialjusticewarriorgamer.net. I want it to be, for every article that is a serious. Sorry, I keep looking at this side of the room. I don't look over here. For every article that we post on, Mike Krahulik from Penny Arcade is going on a Twitter tirade about trans issues, which happened, by the way. He has since apologized and donated, again, right? But whatever, $20,000 to the Trevor Project. So, but no, for every big controversy like that, or instance of, well, why can't I have I can get married in this customizable character game, but I can't get gay married, and then everyone, we have that. But for every article like that, I want to balance it out with, why do people think Bowser's hot? Which was an article that gets a lot of traffic thanks to furaffinity.com.
Like, just part of that is just being able to be ourselves, like very publicly and openly on the side. I'm going to E3, I'm just wearing these like rainbow suspenders. I'm just like flaming out there, just interviewing and talking to people, and that's in a way part of activism itself. Like just being a presence. People see you and they get to know you, and it's like, that's what I love. That's like I'm kind of the fun writer. Like I'll have all the serious stuff. So I'm just like, let's go, fun. That's why I like where the site's going. We want to do that. And we want to make it, do a lot more of it. A lot more fun things. Drag queen interviews, stuff like I don't know. Just make it fun.
Video content.
And it's just also just activism itself, showing that this is what we like, and what you guys like. Like that. I don't know.
Well, and the activism thing is kind of important because I see a lot of parallels between the stuff that we've always dealt with and the stuff that I'm seeing with the trans issues, and especially in the women's issues. So, anytime that something gay related, so gay gamer is a thing, gamer X, the con is a thing. You go onto to Joystick, to Polygon, to any of these standard gaming sites, and there's going to be this plethora of comments of, oh god, this again, why is this a thing, it's not really matter, why can't we, just that noise. And then you see something like Anita Sarkeesian's project, and it's the same arguments again and again. Why is this an issue? Why are we focusing on this? If we would just ignore it, I see this, and it's the exact same arguments they make against us, against these other people as well.
Only on steroids.
Yeah. It's way worse when it's like at the end of the day, we're all still dudes.
Yeah.
It's interesting how sodomy is less problematic than being a woman these days.
Yeah, it's kind of the inverse for the gamer culture. It's a conservative culture at large, if you're gay, that's like, oh my god, that's the worst thing ever. But in the gamer culture, gay. But, oh my god, you're a woman? What the hell?
Hey, do you guys have any women on your staff?
Here you go.
That is a great question.
Who said that?
A woman.
Comes out.
Yes, we do. That was actually, so when I came aboard, there were only 4 writers that remained over from the transition. And of course, none of the writers pre were women anyway, so it wouldn't really matter. But one thing that I've really
had women writers in the past.
We've had,
they just never stayed on.
Yeah, and so one of the writers actually founded lesbiangamers.net at one point as well, a few years ago. It is very important to me to feature as many voices on the site as possible, because I want as many perspectives, and I don't want it to be white gay male gamer.net. That's too many syllables. I think GamerX/Gamer Connect, they got the best tagline, and I'm pissed they thought of it first, which is "Everyone Games." We actually have, we currently have 2 writers that I brought in who are female, a woman named Cassandra Leese and a woman named Sam Einhorn. Sam actually, one of our writers is a straight man, and he actually posted a story one day that was more of an opinion piece, and it was about the importance of solidarity amongst people, where he kind of came out as being kind of our token straight writer. And in the piece, he described himself as in a very problematic way. He said, I am GayGamer.net's resident lady lump lover, which I don't know how I approved that, but we got a tweet from Sam Einhorn who said, really, like, you guys, like, really, a dude is your only, voice on women on your site? And I was like, you know what, you were damn right. Want to write for our site? And she did, and now she's a writer for our site, and she's working on some really great stuff. I've got another woman, Cassandra Leese, and I've been speaking to a bunch of people this weekend as well. If there are any writers in the room, feel free to speak to me after, because I'd really like to bring you on.
But it's interesting. Managing a community teaches you a lot of things, and one of the things it teaches you is that the community you manage isn't always the community you wished it was. I can remember back in the day, our first female writer, who is now Tracy J. John, of Everywhere. Commenters were really, really nasty to her for being a female, for being a woman on a gay site, because they perceived it as being a gay male site, and to be fair, it mostly was. But it wasn't. That isn't how we envisioned the site, and it isn't what we wanted. But we've always had a tough time retaining women writers, retaining trans writers, and getting between the two of us, we've had a tougher time than I would ever have liked getting our community, our commenting community at least, to accept that as a thing that should happen, let alone that a thing that they wanted to happen. So it's been a constant battle, and it's for years. And I suspect it will continue to be.
I think so. Yeah. I mean, even recently, or not recently, a few months ago, there was actually, within 1 week, there was actually an entire period where multiple gaming sites independently of one another were all doing stories on trans issues in gaming that were just sort of happening all over the place. And so I was like, wow, there's really a lot happening right now. So I kind of just did a roundup of that, where I said, it was called like This Week in Trans Gaming, and there was a Polygon article, there was an interview with someone smart, there was all this stuff going on. And so, I just sort of did a roundup of all of that, and I put all the stories into one story and was like, here, go check out this, go check out this, go check out this. And one of the commenters said, God, what is this, transgamer.net now? I come here for gay stuff. And I'm like, dude, like, really? We post like, we post an article about the face model for Kaiden from Mass Effect, and that gets more hits than anything we've ever posted ever, because it's a hot dude, and there's literally no content other than his face. We post a really thought-provoking, awesome interview with a trans woman in games journalism, and it struggles to get all the uniques that shirtless dudes do. So it's kind of a balance of like, this is the content that does well, and I want the site to do well, and it's also but like I said, for every one of those articles that goes up of some shirtless dude, I'm going to make sure that there's, something of substance.
And it's weird because you do have to groom, your audience sometimes to accept one form of activism that's newer now than it was a billion years ago, is sort of internal activism, of grooming your audience to be more activisty themselves on some issues, which all gay communities sort of reflect some of these problematic issues towards people of color, towards women, towards trans issues, and we're no different in that regard. But it's some part of the caretaking we have to do is a kind of internal activism.
Yes, and there's also there's a sentiment that I've been noticing on the internet a lot. I mean, like, everyone knows that, like, between Anita Sarkeesian or trans issues or Gamer X, its existence, there's all this stuff going on in the gaming world where I see a lot of commenters and people saying things like, well, why can't we just talk about the games? Why can't we just play games and not worry about the politics or the social issues or the this or the that? And
You can.
Like, you can. Don't go
stopping you?
don't go comment on the article, first of all. But when I, when I hear that, I'm gonna sort of paraphrase what Samantha Allen, who I interviewed recently, had to say on this issue, which is when you say that you want to just talk about the games, the only way to really do that is to say, this is a game, I push buttons, things happen, I like it. That is literally all you can, no, not even I like it. This is a game, you push buttons, things happen. That is all you can say about a game without taking a stance or having your own bias come into the equation. So when people say that, it means you're not saying I only want to talk about the games. You're saying I don't want to talk about women. I don't want to talk about gay people. I don't want to talk about this. I don't want to talk about this. That's what they're really saying. And then people come in and say, oh, well, you're being the thought police. I have an opinion. Well, yeah, you have an opinion, and you can keep it to your damn self, you know? Like, you don't have to go. Your opinion canceling out another person's opinion does not validate your opinion.
Yeah. I was gonna say, opinion. He's just rambling now.
So
He's on a monologue. He's got a monologue going.
games are played by people. So if you want to talk about games, you have to talk about people. And
Oh,
if,
that should be her.
if you want to limit the audience, if you want to limit the type of people you want to talk about, then you kind of have to do that consciously. Yes.
Not to come off as cynical, but do you guys have measurables or a timeline or goals for the next year for the resurrection, or so to speak?
Bless your black heart. Yes.
We do.
And what are they?
Next question.
We got.
What?
We'll be announcing them soon. No, we actually. So yes, there's actually a bunch of things that we are planning to do. One is I have a new crop of writers that I'm bringing in, and I'm going out of my way. When I put out a call for new writers, I still didn't get that many female writers, and that's just sort of a reality. So I've kind of had to put in more effort to go and find them, but it's effort that I'm more than willing to put in. So new slate of writers with new ongoing features, so that we have more regular content that is more engaging. I am planning. We recently had a redesign, though it was not a redesign that I had any hand in, and I would actually like to redesign the site further to further integrate social media as well as integrate video content, which is another thing that we're really big on.
Yeah.
Jesse has been assisting a lot with that.
Yeah, so we did a lot of some videos now. We have our E3 videos that went up, and we've been doing a lot of filming here. Like one thing that we did, we're doing now, we're just asking everybody kind of like, hey, what does GamerX mean to you? We're gonna compile that, just get a sense of that community, to put that out there. We had our interviews with Ellen and John. We interviewed the adorable couple that got engaged.
Oh my God.
We sat them down. It's like couch up the view. Just talk. And so they're talking about their plans. He's gonna move here hopefully in the spring. Just like that. That was a story. That happened at GamerX. And so that video stuff is going to be edited soon and put out.
Yeah, we've got.
You are right to be cynical because we're a volunteer-run site, and we
It
have
takes forever to do anything.
we run on a skeleton crew, and hopefully we'll be simplifying some of our business structure to make things a lot easier to deal with. But I've been saying that for years, so believe me, no one is more cynical than I am when it comes to getting things
We've
done.
been through it,
Yeah.
Been through it, but I'm still here. So take my presence as hope. We may not have a timetable, so oftentimes because if we gave one to you, we'd just break it.
Yeah.
But we're not going away.
Yeah, and I also started doing Twitch because I wanted to do some more streaming, some playing games, just picture of us playing games, talking, whatever games out there. So I just started the channel, and I've had some experience doing streaming stuff with Stoke Day before, so I'm just trying to get the tech ready. Have some new shows. We'll have people, if you want to stream on our channel, whatever. We'll just get guys doing that stuff. Just trying to do a lot more things.
Well, those sound like, because I too used to be a fervent reader and regular reader, and then the social media earthquake came through, and then I was lazy and I barely had time to do the Facebook stream.
Yeah.
So, you want me to look at 2 streams? Oh no, I'm too busy for that. So.
We understand.
I mean, I
should guys reintegrate with the Facebook stuff, and we'll all be there. And
I mean, and I get very lazy even myself. Like sometimes I don't want to look at the site. Some days, I have to look at it every day. but like there are days when there's nothing, like where I am reaching at straws to find something gay to talk about, you know, in games. You know, is the
And it's usually
is the red
straws,
pigment a bottom?
I
I
mean.
don't know. Another step that some other things that we're going to be doing, we're trying to bring back. We want to do a lot more interviews and a lot more community spotlight. We've done interviews with Chris Cluey, the awesome NFL player.
Buy his book too. It's fantastic.
Yeah, Beautifully Unique Sparkle Ponies. Speaking of books, Chris Cluey is amazing. We've been
It's not
trying.
this good, but it's good.
Yeah, we're trying to do much more community outreach. One thing that has been very key, we've been working a lot with Gamer Connect and GamerX actually, and hopefully there will be more of an official relationship at some point, because we really believe in what they're doing and they believe in us, and we would like. I really like what they're doing from a community perspective, and they really like what we're doing from a curated content perspective, and I think there's a relationship to nurture there.
And my goodness, they get things done. So that's a skill set we could
We
very
need that.
happily.
I've been talking to a few people at Gamer Connect about some ideas we have going forward.
I'd be curious if like you can get the web celebs like Felicia Day or
And see,
Will Wheaton to do some of that stuff too.
That is some.
Because they seem, from what I've seen when I've been seeing at cons,
Yeah.
they're very queer friendly.
Oh, totally.
Yeah,
We've
a lot of
been-
people in the industry are.
Yeah.
And I think that because Gay Gamer has been around for a lot of time, it has the name, it's got the notoriety. Like,
Yes,
you go
that's
through, like, oh, we're Gay Gamer, oh, we've heard about you, we know you, so we have that sort of like the name drive. So when we send the email out, this is so-and-so for Gay Gamer, blah, blah, I'm friends with so-and-so, blah, can you do something on our site? I'm sure they would love to, so we want to do more of that as well.
A lot of that is just like, just to be as transparent as possible. A lot of that is also just scheduling. I mean,
Yeah.
Felicia Day, her schedule is jam-packed, but yes, she is a huge ally. The same with like someone like Adam Sessler, who is amazing, and he is probably one of the biggest allies in the gaming industry that we have, and
always has been.
and always has
Since
been.
like day one.
Yeah, before he was anyone, he's always just been a very vocal
I thought
proponent.
it was gay for a long time. It's like, it's been there.
Me too,
I
right?
know.
Yeah.
You're European, you're European.
But Adam, of course, is booked literally until 2030, every second of his life. So that's really just a logistics issue, but it's something that we're actively pursuing.
That's great.
That we want to do more with. We're also bringing back an old feature soon-ish called that was formerly Gay Gamer of the Week. We're bringing that back as Gay Gamer of the Month, and it's going to be a bit more involved. And it's an opportunity to do community spotlight while also I don't relate to what you said in this article because I'm not American, and I was like, oh well, that's a good point. Again, it's a logistics thing. Sometimes it can be hard to find those voices because we are a primarily American-read site, so it can be very hard sometimes to get. When we put out a post saying "Want to write for us," it doesn't make its way to a lot of countries where I'm sure there are lots of writers.
Originally, in the early days, we had a much more diverse readership, and we had some European writers and some South American writers. Those have always proven harder to retain, and just I think logistically. But our readership was we had a lot, like huge, like 18% Brazilian at one point, like 2008. So it exists. We can get them back. Also,
It's one of those markets where gaming is starting to sort of take root, and they're starting to develop a bunch of their own game development studios, and there's sort of a young game developing market, so they're not quite so reliant on the U.S. and Japan anymore.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if we start seeing more and more stuff from Brazil as the years go on. So that might become a more viable or a more present audience for us to address and make a more explicit outreach to in future years.
Yeah,
out Son of Nor.
and if you're from another country and you write, please email me.
yes.
I'm constantly looking for writers. More writers, more better. Moving to the question.
So you guys have talked a lot about building relationships with games journalists. Are you also putting together some sort of plan to put some relationships with game developers into place, or are you just mostly trying to get into the journalism world?
I'll let Sal talk about our plans, but traditionally, it's having contacts within the game development area is kind of a double-edged sword, because a lot of times they're not allowed to talk to you, or if they're allowed to talk to you, it has to be off the record.
Mostly that's with the bigger developers.
Yes, I'm kidding. So with indie developers, however, that is, I think, always been a more accessible market, and I think that is sort of the direction in which we're headed.
Yeah, we've begun definitely fostering those relationships. Recently, I know Dragopolis with So Much Drama Studios is out in somewhere here, but Jeff Meter, who runs that, he's actually become a good friend of the site. And we've gone out of our way to really network with them. I would say right now our focus has actually been trying to network more with the journalism world, just because, like David said, traditionally it's been harder to network with game devs outside of PR purposes. But as indie games kind of grow, we've gotten a lot of traffic through our work with my boyfriend, the Space Tyrant, which is also here. And that is an indie gay game that's gotten a lot of press, and we were one of the few outlets willing to cover it initially, and it's been great. So yeah, I just got a jazz hand. So 15. 5. See?
Oh, 5. Never mind. I thought 3 right.
Sure.
So how, when it comes to like selecting writers going forward, how important is it for like chemistry with the existing writing staff? Like the way that it was described, like earlier in the talk, that GayGamer.net is sort of like an incubator for people who want real jobs. But it makes me think of things like Saturday Night Live or Daily Show or something like that, where you can sort of have like this group of personalities, and you can like be entertaining and subversive and get that information out there. So how important is that when it comes to selecting the writer?
I try and get as wide a variety of writers as I can. We have writers that are entirely satirical. One of my favorite writers on the site is one of my least favorite people in the world. But his writing is fabulous, and he is hilarious, and I love reading what he writes. I just don't ever want to speak to him.
Wow. I love you too.
His name rhymes with David Bedison. No, I mean for every satiric writer, I want a writer who is I want a Jesse who's fun. I want a Christian who's ranty and talks about big boobs and how they're upsetting. And then I want to have
so much dragon boobs.
But then I want to have like one of our writers who's probably been my favorite, Mitch Alexander, who lives in the UK, and he has been doing amazing editorial pieces that are just very hard hitting and very to the point. He's recently started a new feature called The Queer Mechanic, where he's talking about ways that game mechanics can and a queer identity can merge, and it's very exciting to see something like that. So as long as good grammar you have, if you know how to write, I am inclined, and you have something to say, if you're not, I don't want boring writing. I want writing that people want to read.
Yeah, and so basically we were discussing that, we were talking about like the new writers, that's what we were talking about, like we want our writers to have a personality, have like a branding to themselves, so you'll be interested in reading their stuff, so this is a Jesse piece, or this is a,
I think
so-and-so piece.
we're about to get kicked out. Can we answer
there
one
one
more?
more?
Is there one more?
Really quick question.
Okay.
For those of us old farts who were on the site when it started but haven't been there in like since Bush was president, when the site went through its troubles and they got transferred, did our accounts get like completely wiped?
No.
Oh, okay, cool.
Well, wait, maybe.
I mean, I don't think so.
I'm pretty. No, it didn't.
That sounds like
It did
a
not.
question
It did
I
not,
should know.
because my old account from like 2006, I actually log into the forums every now and then, and we'll go in there. The forums are a whole nother world that we'll be dealing with, but
That's another panel. Bye.
I think we can squeeze in this
Have we
last
been
one.
kicked out?
Wrap it up, yeah.
Okay. Well, looks like there's one more.
One more? Okay.
Last.
Any plans to bring podcast back?
David.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
let's do it. I want to be part of it.
There are plans.
We have to get the technical.
We like to talk, as you can tell.
Yeah, but we do have to kind of get the technical aspect of it sort of worked out. After E3, I had you didn't come over. You weren't over there. Yeah, you were.
We were all
of
there.
them plus Gavin were at my place. And we actually had a hot tub video podcast. And we just got in the guys that I live with actually have this gorgeous backyard and this giant hot tub. So I was just like, yeah, let's just come to my place and so we can talk to the camera. And we chatted, we just ranted for about a good 2 hours. And when we were done, we realized that the video had stopped maybe about an hour before, and that the sound didn't work right. So we had this great thing that we could have put up, and it would have been
That's a good idea.
ridiculous
So
and titillating and informative, and it just went.
And it'll be on the DVD for
They're gonna turn off our mics. Go buy my book, David Edison, The Waking Angel. Buy it.